What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Coffee with KP. My name is Kelly Parker. I go by KP the Builder, one half of the Construction Kings, and I'm delighted to be sitting here with a couple of guests. This is totally different. It's usually one-on-one, but this one is, like I say, totally different and extra special. I'm going to lead off handing it to my man, Joe, the lender. Let him introduce himself.
What's going on, fam? I'm Joe Castaneda. I'm one of the managing partners of DukeAllen Company. They call me Joe, the hard money man.
All right.
Yeah, my name is Thompson. I go by JT. I reached out to KP just, regarding a little bit of guidance and a little bit of advice. So, he told me to show up today. So, I'm here.
All right, cool. So, yeah, JT reached out to me and he had quite a few questions. He's a new real estate investor, new realtor, sales agent.
Yep.
And he just wanted to come along and get some advice. So make sure you guys like this video, subscribe, and comment. We're going to dive right into it.
Yeah, right on. So, I guess, my first question would be kind of what led you into getting into real estate investing? How did you find that road for yourself?
All right, honestly, I was looking at a Forbes list and realized that like 90% of the people on there got their money through real estate.
Yeah.
And currently own a lot of real estate. Yeah. So I was like, I got to get into real estate. It's not really entertainment. It's not sports. It's real estate. And that's the fastest wealth builder. And most people don't know that being that real estate is the fastest wealth builder. You can get rich buying and flipping houses or buying and building houses, but you get wealthy by holding them.
Yeah.
So you got to understand that the long play in real estate is to own real estate, not just buy it and sell it.
Yeah, not just fix and flip it. Got you. So, like, what has benefited you the most, other than the finances, what's benefited you the most throughout this entire journey of, being in real estate investing?
I mean, one thing I love the most, and I would call it the benefit, is the networking aspect.
Yeah.
You get to meet a lot of cool people. You get to go a lot of different places. Every day is totally different. It's not like punching the clock. I may wake up today and go see 5 houses. I may wake up tomorrow and go see 10.
Yeah.
Or the next day I might see 0, just stay home or something. So it's ultimately the networking aspect and having a different day that inspires you to stay in it.
Yeah.
Because, some people get stagnant or they get bored with their current jobs. And being that real estate is the type of real estate that we do,
Yeah.
as far as investing and building, is totally different each day. It's just something to look forward to each day.
Yeah. I can only imagine. Yeah. So, like, when you actually started, I know, we spoke a little bit before, you saying you're from Florida and things of that such. So, like, when you actually originally started, who helped you? Was it more of yourself, self-educating yourself?
Nah.
Did you have help?
It was never self-educating for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not one of those guys that can take an online course and pass the
neither am I.
Like, so,
Neither am I.
listen, I took the online real estate class 3 times.
Yeah.
I never made it to the end because I'm not like that. So when I did go into the classroom to get my real estate license, it was an 8-day course. It was 9-hour days for 8 days. It was a 72-hour course for my Florida license. And I mean, once I got to that day 8, and I had borrowed the money from my sister, I knew I had to pass to get out of there, get my license, to pay her back, and stuff like that. So I passed getting out the class. And then the following 2 weeks, they was crazy because I took the Florida real estate agent exam 6 times.
Really?
I was taking it every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And you were paying for it every single time?
Every single time.
Wow.
But in Florida, it was only $35 a time.
Oh, yeah, it's 120 here.
I know. Totally different.
Yeah.
So down there with that 35 a time, I could do that because the first time I missed it by 6, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 1.
You finally got it.
And then the 6th time, I say if I missed it by 1, I know I'm going to pass the next time. And the following time I did.
Yeah.
But I knew I had to do it because I wasn't going to be deterred by missing an opportunity that presented itself by 6 points.
Yeah.
And once I got my license, I was in Tallahassee. I went to Florida A&M. And it's a big college town. So it wasn't a lot of buying and selling, especially back then. So I reached out to Gene, which is my current partner, on Facebook. I was like, yo, I see you at Keller Williams in Atlanta, Atlanta Partners. I'm with KW down here in Cologne and Tallahassee. I'm thinking about moving to Atlanta and just, transferring my license. If I come up there, could I join your team? Because back then, he was the #1 sales agent, selling, 40, 50 houses a month.
Wow.
So I was like, he's like, sure. He hit me back on Facebook like, sure, when can you start? I was like, whenever. He hit me right back. Can you start tomorrow? This is a Wednesday. I'm in Florida. I was like, nah, I can't start tomorrow, but I can come up there tomorrow, get my stuff together, and start Monday.
Yeah, and that showed that showed your dedication.
Right. He
yeah,
said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here's the address. He sent me an address. I came up here, brought a car full of stuff, and haven't been back to Florida to live since. And that was almost 8 years ago. So we started Construction Kings and Builders Academy. When I first came up, he had Gateway Acquisitions, which was a wholesale company. So I didn't transfer my license immediately, but that first month wholesaling, I did over like $13,000.
Just wholesaling.
Just wholesaling, like straight profit for me. And I looked at that, I was like, man,
Yeah, that's it.
never going
That's it.
So with that being said, I've been here ever since, bro.
Yeah, and you met Gene via Facebook. Like that was the first time you reached out to him. You knew
I've
him before?
been knowing Gene for 40 years.
Okay.
Like, we childhood friends.
Yeah, okay.
So we played Little League together, football, baseball. And we remained close till he went to college. He moved to Tennessee. I stayed in Florida. We lost it. And then we stayed friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Somewhere down here, you're going to see the pictures of them, you know, and their baseball team.
Right. That's right. The New York Yankees.
Yeah, Yankees, yeah.
That was our team.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, bro, it's all about network and getting the information from a human. It's one thing to get it from some paper or online.
I agree.
But to hear somebody tell you their story and show
agree.
you how they did it, you can relate. It's more relatable. You can relate to their circumstances and situations, and it gives you more inspiration.
I was gonna just say
Because I'm sure Joe will have some stuff about how he got started and the people that helped him.
Yeah.
Because it's not just learning the stuff and getting the information. It's about the confidence behind the information.
Yes.
You can't get confidence from reading,
No.
but somebody can pat you on your back or tell you that was a good job or do it this way, and it kind of instill that confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. So what has been we spoke about this a little bit earlier as well, but I wanted to just ask again, what has been the most efficient way for you to find funding for, and lending options when it comes to your investments and, I know it's a lot as far as like, the ARVs and stuff like that. So how have you been able to, find the right lenders and the right funding options to make all those things become a reality for yourself?
By networking and seeing what's out there, but ultimately meet people like Joe.
Yeah.
And I'll let him answer all these funding questions because that's what he does 100% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are some of the options? I'm gonna throw this question. What are some of the options that people have to finance, real estate endeavors that they're going to use for investment properties, or nothing that they're going to use for their personal home? Just say buying wholes or flips or new constructions.
Well, so the biggest, hurdle that most first-time investors have is that they think that they have to have a W-2, they have to be on the job for 2 years, that we're going to collect 2 years of tax returns, or you have to have seasoned money for 90 days, like a traditional process would be, right? Our programs are all opposite of that. We're not going to ask you for all of that documentation. So it's a no income document loan is what we call it. It's strictly an asset-based loan, which means that we're going to let you borrow the capital, the money, based off the future value of that property, if the deal makes sense. And we look at 4 factors when we lend you any type of capital. One is the strength of the project. It has to make sense for your client, for you, your client, whoever it is, right? 2, we have to make sure that you have the liquidity or your reserves for your down payment. Like, you don't want to be moving pieces and then I tell you, hey, you have to bring X amount to the closing, and you're like, oh, I don't even have that. And you're like, man, you wasted the time of the realtor, the lender, the appraiser, the title company, the attorney, and you don't even have the money, right? So we want to verify you at least have that. 3, we're looking at experience on paper, meaning how many deals have you done that you've purchased a property and successfully exited a property. Not that we're builders, we're lenders, we're an agent, and we have many years combined of experience. No, we don't want that. We want experience on paper. And last but not least, we're looking at your credit scenario. Now, we've closed deals with 550 credit score before, right? And the reason why we could still fund it is because the deal makes sense. Like, we know that if for whatever reason the market turns and we have to take back this asset, that we could flip this asset or sell it because the deal made sense when they actually bought it on the first go around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's pretty much like how we would be able to fund the deal.
Yeah. Just kind of piggybacking off what you were just explaining. So all of this is relatively new to me.
Yeah.
I just, graduated from Boston College, a little over a year ago. So when it comes to the real estate world, everything is new to me. So it has been a lot of self-educating. As you said, I'm not the best learner when it comes to self-educating, but I don't really have as many resources to, enlighten me. So I've just been doing it myself. But everything that I've seen, and it just kind of gave me a lot of hope by you speaking, everything that I've seen has been saying, like, you have to have a W-2 job, you have to have income statements and things like that to get started in real estate investment. If you don't have that, then you can't do it. So I've been, trying to find like night jobs just so I can have a W-2. On paper to be able to get those loans and get those lenders to be able to, have some type of faith in me.
Sure.
So you just saying that kind of just encouraged me a lot, just knowing that there's other routes that you'll be able to take in order to make that become a reality for yourself.
Now let me piggyback to that. If you're missing any of those components, you could bring those components to you. Meaning if you don't have the liquidity, maybe someone in your circle, your mom, your dad, maybe a best friend, a cousin, or someone in the real estate space, or even social media. I raise most of my capital through social media because people see what I do on a daily basis and they're like, okay, well, I'm tired of my job. I'm tired of commuting to work an hour and a half a day in the morning, an hour and a half in the afternoon. My lifestyle is totally different from everybody else, right? So people want to say, okay, so what is it that Joe is doing that's helping me do this? Now, I've raised my money through social media because you never know who has the money if you don't ask.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You never know who just got maybe a lump sum of money. Somebody inherited money from their estates from their grandparents, or they just won a lawsuit. Like, you never know, and they're just looking for that right word or right time that you just said something about real estate, and they're like, man, I just got $100 grand. Let me reach out to KP, or let me reach out to Joe and say, hey man, I have this. What can I do? I'm like, what can you do? Come here. Like, we can do a lot, right?
Yeah.
But it's all of how you put it out there. It's the same thing. If you have challenges with your credit, find somebody that has good credit. They might not have the money, but hey, you want to learn real estate with us? Bring your credit scenario, and now you'll be part of the actual process, part of the entity as well.
Yeah. Got you. So for both of y'all, I guess this question would be, did you guys start off or just got right into real estate investing, or was there a time there where y'all were doing fix and flipping and kind of in that workspace, wholesaling, fix and flip, stuff like that, or was it always building from the ground up?
All right, how I got started, of course, I moved up here and started wholesaling with Gene. Most of the people that we were wholesaling to were investors because the houses that we were selling were as is. So met a lot of investors, started my remodeling company because these investors had me oftentimes project manage their flip. So me learning how to project manage, I learned the process of, fix and flip additions, pop tops, etc. So I was able to start my own remodeling company, which I still currently have. And all this came because of putting myself in rooms with the people that were doing what I wanted to do. Being around investors. And I always tell new agents to separate yourself from other agents on your card, just add investment specialists. Because now when you go to these auctions or to these networking events and you're around investors, your card says something that most realtors don't say. And you're an investor-friendly realtor. You're an investment specialist, so you can find them deals or list their deals or maybe even project manage to learn. So it's just being in positions with people who are in your next position, like where you want to be next. Like, hang with them. Don't hang with someone who was doing what you were doing a couple years ago. You're not going to grow like that. So.
Yeah, that's definitely something that has dawned on me a lot. Like I said, this whole year from not playing ball anymore and just being done with school, it's been a huge transition period for me, and it's really been about just finding that space where, like you said, I'm around people that are in positions where I envision myself being in, or in, you know, spots where I want to be, you know, and that's kind of why I'm here today, just to kind of figure out more about investing, just because I know ultimately that's my goal, my ultimate goal, and that's kind of what I want to be doing. So
Yeah, most definitely.
yeah, right on.
Got about one more question. Make it a go.
So I would say, you know, so like when you started investing, I understand that there is a lot of ups and downs, you know, with the real estate.
No, we're always making millions. You know, we're always making, there's no ups and there's no downs. There's no downs.
So like, how both of you get over those times in y'all's lives where it's like you haven't really been able to close a deal in a month, or you haven't been able to close a deal in 2 or 3 months. What helped you stay encouraged and helped you to see forward past the negative things that obviously all of our minds could put in our heads when things aren't going well for yourself, you know what I'm saying? So how were y'all able to kind of push through that and to see the light in the tunnel?
My biggest thing is my why. My why is my family. Like, I have no choice but to execute, right? I could have a million excuses. It could be raining, it could be a depressing day, I haven't closed a deal in 2 months. I mean, it could be a lot of factors. But just knowing that I have a family, I have a team that depends on me, like, I have no other reason but just to kind of break through that.
Yeah.
We're all built in the same, like, how do you say, in the same industry, right? And this is not for everybody, right? And a lot of people, and believe it or not, like, even in my organization, it's tough, man. It's not easy. It's not easy to keep motivated. It's not easy, but that's why, you know, you look back at your why, you look at your family, you look at your team, and also what helps me is a lot of personal development.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that you're just reading that you'd be like, man, this was it. This is all I needed to read, so I could just be like, man, let's cross over that barrier. But that's pretty much my answer, man.
Yeah. And my answer is very similar to Joe's, remembering your why. And it's also just having the right mindset. I mean, every day is going to be challenging. But you depend, I mean, how you react is what defines you. So if you're having a bad day and you let it keep you down, then that's on you. But if you have a bad day, just think about people out there who are having way worse days.
Way worse, yeah.
And then you'll be more appreciative and grateful for what you currently have and what you're currently going through. Like, we're all faced with dark days and sometimes depression and all this, but to get out of that, you just have to get outside.
Yeah.
Get outside, not just physically, like mentally.
Yeah.
Get outside of that thought process. Get outside, go get some sunlight, go drink a coffee, you down to your last couple dollars, spend it on you. Like, just whatever. But also remember, like Joe say, your why. Your mom, your siblings, your girl, whoever, kids, if you have any. We're all just playing a small role in a big play.
Yeah. So
we can't let our small role like determine the outcome of that play.
Of the big play.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, we're just runners on the field like you're a football player.
Yeah.
We're not the quarterback. Even the quarterback getting coached.
Yeah.
So you really can't control nothing. Once we understand we can't control nothing outside of our mind, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because people think even when you're on 75 driving out, you can't control them cars around you.
Yeah.
You can swerve and jerk and try to save what you got in case of an accident, but you can't control nothing outside of your mind. You can't control your body. You can move your fingers, but if something happened, you might not even be able to do that.
Yeah.
But you can think about it. Same thing with everything, bro. Like, just it starts in your mind. Like, even with our health, we think we can control our health. We can't, because I know both my parents had cancer, so they could be healthy, they can do whatever, but they can't control it. If it is, it is. If it ain't, it ain't. You just have to think positive through every situation.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I appreciate that.
But we hope hope you learn something, man. And I know we're gonna see you at the top. We're gonna be definitely working together.
Yeah, no doubt.
So if you got a Instagram or social media, you can.
Yeah. My Instagram is the JT Show _ after the show. So.
All right. Give me your contact.
My contact is Joseph Castaneda on Facebook, and on Instagram is Duke _Allen _and _co. And you can find me on MySpace. No, I'm kidding.
Cool. And everybody, my name is Kelly Parker. I go by KP the Builder. Thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of Coffee with KP.